Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review that is for the X-Wing, the Airhog Star Wars X-Wing versus Death Star Rebel Assault combo system here. As you can see, when we flip this up, we can see that we get an X-Wing quadcopter as well as a hovering Death Star. I know that Flying Ryan RC did a review on this, and I watched his review and it was really cool. He did a great job in his kitchen of showing how this thing worked, and I wanted to go ahead and do a review myself and see what my take was on it. But if you want to see another review, Flying Ryan did one, and I'll have that link down in the description of the video too, so be sure to check his review out for a second opinion. Anyway guys, what this is all going to be all about is unboxing, inspection, setup, and flight test, and the pros and cons. We're going to do everything here in the house. This is kind of an in-the-house deal. I don't think you really want to be doing this in your yard unless maybe you have a fenced-in or a high-walled yard, because if you have any kind of wind, this Death Star just kind of hovers and could get blown around and you could lose it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this up. We can see on the box we have a little heads-up battle screen. There's a controller, and it kind of shows you a few pictures of what's going to be happening here. The X-Wing's going to be shooting at the Death Star and vice versa. On the back of the box, we just have kind of some clearer pictures of everything. The Death Star automatically hovers and shoots, so you don't have to control it at all. When you get hit or you hit the Death Star, you're going to have some things going on. And let's pull this thing out of the box here. There we go. Looks like one side opens and you got this little finger slot. Oop. Cool. So there's the instructions and everything else in the box. You got this little USB cable. With these ones here, you can actually plug this cable into the controller once you put rechargeable batteries in the controller, and you can recharge those batteries through the controller if you want to. So taking this thing out of the box though, we need to first get it out by untying this rope and also twisting these little knobs here. That should release the controller just like that. This one actually has two USB cables, it looks like, because you also have the Death Star. So one's going to be for the controller and then one's going to be for the Death Star actually. There's the Death Star that came out when we undid those little ropes. And so there is this very simple, it looks like a little helicopter actually is what it is. It's a dual bladed helicopter with like a flybar and a swash plate self-leveling deal, and there's where you're going to plug in one of these USB cables. You just plug it in, plug this into like your wall phone charger, and you can charge that thing up. There's the laser and the pickup it shoots over there. There's another one there, so it looks like it's got one on the bottom and it's got one on the side, and it also has the pickup, so when you shoot it from your X-Wing, that's how it's going to know it's getting hit. It's got these infrared pickup deals here, and so that's it. It's just a basic thing that just flies by itself. It should have some kind of, I don't know what it has, like a barometer, or maybe that's the ground sensor. I'm not sure what that is, but it should have something to keep itself hovering in the air, some type of technology. Anyway, here is the X-Wing, and let's see how we get this thing out of the box. So it looks like you may need some scissors, and you need to just trim these little kind of rubbery plastic tie wraps, and it just comes right out. One more thing below it, extra propellers. So this is a mini quadcopter. This does come with, you know, propeller guards, so if you wanted to, these ones you can actually take off. You can go ahead and just kind of pull these things down, and you see how they come off like that. So it's just a little clip type of system. And so they only give you the prop guards in the back because, as you can see in the front, you've got your blasters are actually blocking the propeller, so that's why they don't put any in the front. Upon further inspection, let's see what we got here. So X-Wing, cool looking craft. It is not foam, it is like a very light plastic. As you can see, it's very bendable. It's going to be fine in some crashing. Stuff's not going to break really unless you crash really hard. But in the front, we're seeing that there's a little infrared laser for shooting, and it also has the pickup on top for receiving shots too. So there's a little sensor there. on-off switch, charge port, which you're going to charge through your controller, which I'll go over in just a second. Propellers, as we already saw. On the back, it does have these red LED lights. Let me just see. Yeah, so you see those blinking. So cool effect. They're going to be on solid once the controller is bounded up. So here's the controller. Speaking of the controller, and we've got our power button, and we got our trims on the sides here. Of course, we have our throttle. We have our yaw and our pitch and our roll sticks. And this is where it's going to be plugging in for the actual quad to charge it. So you just pull this door open, pull this cord out, and then plug right here into the quadcopter while the quadcopter's off. Now you can see that on the controller. If you look back over to the controller, you can see that it's flashing red, and that just means that it needs to be charged. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in and let that sit there until this flashing goes off, and then you're ready to fly it. Here's your fire button here. I'm not sure what this one is. Let's go ahead and while this is charging, go ahead and check out the manual here. I want to see what this left trigger does. Start and stop the Death Star. I guess that'll launch the Death Star, so that'll be pretty cool. So that's really all I wanted to know. Otherwise, it just tells you, how to control it, what all the buttons do, your basic flight functions. So if you want to, you can put your hand under it and it will pick it up or down. That's kind of cool. And then press the Death Star button again, the left trigger on the controller, to land it. So I'm going to charge all this stuff up, and then we'll do a battle in the living room here. Keep in mind that this may be sensitive to LED light, so I have the Christmas tree LED lights on. I have some LED lights on up there, so you probably want to turn those off while you're doing a battle like this, but we'll see if it's interfering. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and try to test fly this thing. Went ahead and charged the battery up. This light stops flashing, it goes green, and then it turns off when the battery is fully charged. So we'll unplug that, tuck it back into the controller here so we can close this latch up, and so that's not in our way. Snap that shut, and first thing I'm going to do is turn on the Death Star. So we go ahead and we turn this on with this switch here. Let's see which way. Oh yeah, I guess we go to that way. So we see that light coming on, so that's ready to go. And then we want to turn on the X-wing just like that, and then immediately turn on the controller. Cool. See how the lights are on solid now. Now I want to launch the Death Star, so I'm going to press left trigger, and here it goes. So I haven't been touching it, so it's just hovering there. It's doing a pretty good job. Oh, it's going up to the ceiling. You see how the green light's blinking? So that means it's firing at the X-wing. Let me go ahead and launch the X-wing. There we go. Unfortunately, it's stuck on the ceiling, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to land it. So I'm going to press this again. And it just fall and hit the ground. Anyway, let's try that again. Launch. Okay. Not launching. Press the trigger again. Let's go ahead and put it here. And try that again. Okay, launching. Left trigger, go. Okay, so that was a good test. I think what was happening was it was thinking that the LED lights in the room, it thought the X-wing laser was hitting it. So let me turn off all these Christmas tree lights and LED lights, and let's try this again. Okay, so I turned off the Christmas tree and any other LED lights that I knew of that were possibly influencing it. So let's turn on the Death Star again. Turn on the X-wing again. Power up. I'm going to launch it from kind of right in the middle of the room this time. Just right here. There we go. Pressing the left trigger. Okay, so that's going to hover. All right, launching the X-wing. Well, there it goes up to the ceiling again. Oh, so it hit me though. Right trigger. There, I finally hit it. So I'm just kind of, there, I shot it again. So I think I got it twice and it's got me once maybe. Okay. There, so see how it's falling? Okay, so I just shot down the Death Star. And I'm not sure how many points it got me, but it got me at least one. So let's go ahead and land it. So that's pretty neat, you know? The only thing is how it's going up and hitting the ceiling. That's kind of lame. But it did just turn off. You know what I mean? So you got to turn this off again. Let's go ahead and also just reset the X-Wing again. So powering off. And let's try that one more time. So a little weird how it gets up to the ceiling. So that's why you don't want to do this outside, I guess, because it could just keep going up and up and up. So not really amazing tech, but at least it's fun, you know what I mean? So power on the X-Wing, power on the controller again. And let's do this again. So left trigger launches the Death Star. Let's just kind of immediately launch the X-Wing. Let's try to do it from the couch. Fire, fire. There, so I got it once. Let's see if it can get me. Ah, there it goes back up to the roof. Oh, it just shot me. So it shot me and then I kind of tumbled out of the air. And it's stuck on the ceiling up there. Whoa. So my X-Wing is having some difficulty flying now. So let me bring the Death Star down. Left trigger. So if it's up high, look what happens. It just like drops if it's too high up. So that's a little funky. I don't really like that. So apparently it probably doesn't have any kind of ground sensing anything. I think it's just guessing, you know, about how much rotor speed to go to keep it up level. Anyways, try one more time. Turning on the X-Wing. Let's go ahead and try to launch the Death Star again. There we go. At the same time, launch the X-Wing. Oh, it just hit me. Felt a little flutter on the X-Wing there. There, I just hit it. See how it turned red and it dropped? It just hit me, so it's got two on me. And let's see what happens. Oh, okay, so it took me out. So it got me 3 times. I'm hearing all this alarms and I heard explosions on there. And I just completely crashed and landed. So I went ahead and did the throttle up and down again. And I'm going to keep shooting the Death Star. Looks like it's stuck against the window. It just got me. There. So I finally shot it down. So kind of neat. Let's see what the flying characteristics are on this thing. Not really much to it. It's only got 1 rate. So here's the full forward and full back. You can see if you get going too fast, you're going to fall down like that. Right roll, left roll, and full throttle up from a hover right now. So that's full throttle. You can see how it's just pretty weak. You know, the battery is almost dead, I think. So it's not going to give you the best control when the battery's this spent. But there's our full yaw. That's what we can expect. And so it seems like if it gets a little wonky, just put it on a flat surface and start it off again. And it seems like it does fix its trim. So here, let's get a little close-up shot of it. Would have been neat if there was more lights in the front. But those lights in the back are definitely way cool. Not really too much complaints. You just can't fly very fast with it because it wants to drop if you do. I'm full throttle up. I'm expecting some of these lights in the back to flash if it gets low power. Ooh. So, you know, this one's better for like hovering and flying very slowly around the house and doing the Battle Star, the Death Star battle. Oh, because when I get going fast like that, you see that? It just wants to fall down. It gets into like a vortex wobble and falls. So you just want to go fly very slow, hover, turn, and be shooting, you know. Okay, so there's our low level blinking lights. Okay, so we can see that we're in low voltage state. And I just kind of want to see what's going to happen if we just let it run out of power. I'm full throttle up. It's getting really weak. It's still climbing a little bit. Now it's coming down. Just want to see if there's a voltage cutoff. Not the best to do this with your toys, obviously, but I like to really just push these things to the limits and just see what happens for you guys, the viewers. Full throttle up still. X-Wing hover. Powering down, and boom. So it shut off the propellers, went into its low voltage cutoff, so good to know. It shouldn't kill the battery if you keep the throttle on. Even though they're blinking, it will shut off before the voltage drops too low. So cool, guys. Let's go ahead and run through a quick little pros and cons. There's a Death Star there. So what can I say about this? Actually pretty cool. I mean, being that you have the whole system all together, you know, you have an automatically flying Death Star, definitely a cool factor. And you can launch and land the Death Star from this left trigger button is big plus. You can't control the Death Star aside from that, and the con on the Death Star is you could see how it was getting stuck even on this high ceiling. For some reason it would get stuck up at the top. Otherwise pretty good, and you know, you can bring it down by just clicking the left trigger again to bring it back down. But it honestly does not seem to have any kind of barometer or anything to sense the ground or sense its height, as far as what I could see. If it does have something, it doesn't work very well. It just seemed like it was, you know, it was calculated to keep the propeller spinning at a certain speed. So at least it kind of hovers in a certain area, or tries to at least. So there's going to be some variation there. But still cool for a toy. As far as the X-Wing goes, definitely looks very cool. You can see the styling is super nice on the X-Wing. I would have liked to see maybe some kind of red light in the front, or green, or some kind of lights in the front. That would have been really neat. There's the little laser tag laser that shoots out at the Death Star when you are pulling the right trigger. Sound effects, totally awesome. It has those laser sound effects, those blasters, and then also makes other sounds like when you land or when you take off, like that sound right there. So definitely pretty cool. It's got some cool factors. Those 4 LED lights on the back were way cool for the thrusters. Really made it look pretty authentic. Maybe like, you know, some LEDs on the sides here, like just one on the side. I don't know, just something else besides the backlight. But that's just getting kind of picky. Really good styling. The way it flew was a little sluggish. It is carrying around all this plastic weight, and so the flight characteristics weren't very good. Anything over just a little bit of pitch and roll, it would start to go too fast and then be too much for it and lose altitude and start wobbling and fall to the ground. So this would be more for something in the house where you're just flying around very slow and doing the battle with the Death Star. Definitely a cool factor. You don't have to have a partner to battle with. You can do it by yourself, and you can have loads of fun with it. As far as the battle characteristics between the two, I think it worked very well. This thing was hitting the X-Wing on occasion. You could see that when it did fire its laser, it turned green, I believe. And when you would hit this thing, it would drop, and it would let you know that it did get hit. You hit it 3 times, it drops to the ground, and you won the battle. And the same goes for the X-Wing. You get 3 hits, and then you go down. If you do go ahead and push the throttle up and down, it seems like you can reset while it's still powered on and go start flying again. So definitely kind of a cool factor on the Death Star versus X-Wing Air Hogs toy. Definitely cool. Not the best, but it's a toy and it's fun. That's all that matters. Anyway, guys, don't forget to check the link down in the description. I will have the link on this down there where you can check out the specs, check out the current pricing, and a little bit more detail of what this thing's all about. And I hope you like the review. I do a lot of reviews like this, and I also do some giveaways and stuff on my channel. Check out my YouTube channel. I think you'll like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.